The story of William Lanson is a uniquely American story. Born and raised in the early days of the new nation, William Lanson rose to prominence as an entrepreneur, engineer, and civic leader in spite of the fact that he, a black man, was living in Connecticut where slavery was still legal. Inspired by a community of people who had witnessed and participated in the Revolutionary War, Lanson believed that he also had the right to the American dream. William Lanson was born in 1782 to his mother, Desire, and to his father, Laban Riggs, in Oxford, Connecticut. William was influenced by his relatives and the people from his community. Laban, who also used the surname of Lanson, was a veteran of the Revolutionary War, having served in Connecticut's 6th Regiment. Sometime in the early 1800s, the Lansons were living in New Haven. By 1807, William and his brother Reuben had purchased land, a large open field, from Mary Wooster outside of New Haven's original 9 squares. The area later became the fancy Wooster Square neighborhood. 4 years later, in 1811, William Lanson designed, directed, and participated in the construction of the 1,500-foot extension to the wharf in the New Haven harbor. Lanson's construction was made entirely of stone, which he, his brother Abel, and others quarried from East Rock. After quarrying the stone, Lanson floated the stones downriver into the harbor and placed the stones into position, doing so in inclement weather and often by moonlight. Lanson's construction made it possible for cargo ships to stay in deeper water and for merchants to unload their cargo directly onto the wharf rather than have to transfer items to smaller boats, which would have to row in closer to shore. The construction of Long Wharf had direct positive results for New Haven. William Lanson had become prominent for his building achievements and won the esteem of the city's elite. While working on the wharf extension, President Timothy Dwight of Yale praised William and his brothers, calling them honorable proof of the character which they sustained, both for capacity and integrity, in the view of respectable men. Around this time, William Lanson was serving and developing New Haven's black population, addressing their need for adequate housing, employment, civil rights, and education. William Lanson increased his real estate holdings, which he used to house indigent, sick, and fugitive enslaved black people who had fled the South. Lanson's leadership and devotion to the black community throughout the state earned him the elected ceremonial position of black governor. William Lanson's engineering feat at Long Wharf drew attention from city leaders and enabled him to obtain more contracts for both public and private jobs, the largest being the contract to build the retaining walls for the New Haven portion of the state's Farmington Canal. James Hillhouse, the project superintendent, hired Lanson, who employed a team of 20 to 30 free black men to construct 30 miles of the canal basin. For this project, Lanson quarried his own stone from East Haven's Blue Mountains. Although he completed the job at a personal loss of $2,600, William Lanson was able to pay all workers in full. In addition to engineering and real estate, William Lanson was involved in many business ventures. Lanson owned a fancy carriage-making business, 2 livery stables that consisted of 40 livery horses and carriages. He rented houses to 20 small families and owned a boarding house that housed 5 families. Lanson owned a goods store, a hotel with $1,000 worth of fine furniture inside. He owned an oyster business and a business relating to sailboats. The larger Lanson family owned a dry goods store, a stone quarrying business, and a clothing store. Sadly, William Lanson's hard work and outstanding achievements were besmirched, and his life spiraled towards ruin. Lanson's success, coveting of his prime real estate, and changing socio-political attitudes towards his activism caused him to be targeted by wealthy businessmen, local government, and the press. Lanson was constantly harassed by neighbors and police, and repeatedly hauled into court and fined. He was falsely imprisoned, swindled out of his land holdings, and left bankrupt, eventually dying in the New Haven almshouse in 1851. William Lanson and his family wrote and published a true account of his life and character, leaving a treasure for posterity. Throughout the city of New Haven, from Wooster Square to Long Wharf, Trowbridge Square to East Rock, touchstones of William Lanson's life can be found. Today, Lanson's legacy is thriving through the Dixwell Church, the Farmington Canal Rail-to-Trail Association, the Canal Dock Boathouse, and the newly erected William Lanson statue by the Amistad Committee in the city of New Haven. William Lanson's life is honored for not only being a builder of structures, but for helping to build a community, for helping to build the city of New Haven, and for helping to build a nation.